These instructions are very important in writing. First of all, we have what's meant by a reflective essay. A reflective essay is an exercise in contemplation on any given subject. So what's the goal of the reflective essay? The goal here in the second line, it tests your ability to think and describe. Think and describe. هيخلوا جواها خط. To think and describe. To order your ideas. To arrange your ideas. And to draw on your experience, imagination, and general knowledge. This is the goal of the reflective essay. To describe, to think, to arrange your ideas, and to draw on your experience. To talk about your experience, يعني something which has happened in the past. Okay? In the instructions, we have these points. مثل ما أخذنا chapter 6 in the short story and in the chapter 5 the literary essay we have instructions. عندنا هاي النقاط. Number 1, types. أنواع the reflective essay. There are so many types of the reflective essays, but here in this book he depends on 2 types. Though reflective essay cannot be easily classified, there are by and large 2 distinct groups. Those which require a great deal of description, as well as the reflection which may call descriptive reflective. The first type, the first classification is the descriptive reflective. What's meant by descriptive reflective? That reflective essay which is about description. Okay. And number 2, those in which the emphasis, the تأكيد is on reasoning rather than description. Reasoning why you are going to write this reflective essay. Okay. Number A, we have descriptive reflective. These usually take the form of one-word titles. The title يكون one word. When writing, you should draw conclusions from what you describe. We have description. خلوا خط جوا what you describe. Okay. For example, gardening is a title of this sort. Here you would not only be expected to describe gardening, but to express your views on it. You express your views on it. Okay, so we have description. Number B, we have the abstract, and the second classification of reflective essay is abstract. These again may take the form of one-word titles when they refer to abstract qualities. We have abstract qualities, for example, truth. As we have discussed in the chapter 5, we have the abstract and concrete qualities. وشرحت لكم بوقت الفرق بين الابستراكت and concrete qualities. الابستراكت راح تكون هي أشياء ملموسة محسوسة، أما الكونكريت راح تكون هي الأشياء الملموسة. For example, الكونكريت مثلا car, window, table, chair, etc. Abstract qualities we have truth, hate, love, etc. Very often, however, the title appears as a phrase beginning with the word on having to work. هذا title كان عطانا مثال على abstract reflective essay. In subject of this kind, purely descriptive writing is of secondary importance. المواضيع من هذا النوع اللي تتكلم عن abstract qualities, description بالwriting راح يكون of secondary importance، يعني أهمية ثانوية secondary، مو أساسي. الأساسي هو يكون abstract. أما بالنوع الأول descriptive reflective يكون description هو is of primary importance. أما here in the abstract the description is of the secondary importance. Your ability to reason rather than to describe. هاي خلوا خط جواها. Your ability to reason السبب reasoning we have rather than to describe. أكثر ما عنا يكون وصف. Your own feelings and views about the subject take first place. Feelings and views. Feelings. We have the truth. We have feelings. Something ملموس مثل ما قلنا الأبستراكت هو ملموس. محسوس. Number 2, interpreting the subject. It's extremely subject اللي هو title من essay. It's extremely important for you to understand what's required by the subject before you begin planning your essay. You have to understand what is required by the subject. Why you are going to write this subject. Why? What is required by the subject before you begin planning your essay. Before planning. Okay, a reflective essay title may often have a wide number of implications. You have implications انطباعات so that it's possible to interpret it in a variety of ways. يكون التايتل مالتي يكون لازم بينه different views, different interpretations. Okay, for example, أعطيك مثال. A subject like walls جدران يعني. If you interpreted this as a descriptive reflective title إذا نجي نفسر هذا السبجكت كأول نوع من ال reflective essay. أول نوع اللي هو descriptive reflective. In your essay you would describe actual walls. راح تبدأون توصفون جدران حقيقية actual walls and express your feelings about them. Here are a few ideas which might be included in an approach of this sort. نعطيك مثال عن الوولز. إذا if you are يعني مثال عن ال views of wall. يعني أنت عندك reflective essay ونوعها هي reflective descriptive والتايتل مال هاي الإساي راح تكون walls. إيش من الفيوز اللي ممكن تجي في باله reader in interpreting the subject حتى يفسر السبجكت إنه what you are going to write about this wall. Okay. Here are a few ideas which might be included in an approach of this sort. The walls of your own room or house. هل أنت راح تبدأ تتكلم عن the wall of your own room or house? Or those surrounding buildings. بنايات المحيطة. أكو walls فيها. Gardens, etc. Interior and exterior walls. Defensive walls in history. Walls in old historic buildings. Ruined walls. ruins يعني محطمة. Walls in fields. Walls as seen by a person in a hospital or a prison. Defaced walls in cities or in a nursery. Decorated walls or blank walls. Walls made of different types of materials, etc. يعني من عندي reflective essay والتايتل ماله هو walls راح يجي في بالي يعني في باله reader more than one interpretation different views. وأعطى مثال walls وأعطى عنا إشنو هي different views اللي ممكن تجي في باله reader when reading this essay. Okay. Here, once you have interpreted this second paragraph, once you have interpreted a subject in this way, you are ready to begin planning your essay. Since you are going to know what you are going to write about this wall, for example, so you are going to plan for your essay. You may deal with a great number of points or limit yourself to a consideration of just one or two. But you must never confuse a descriptive reflective approach with an abstract one. You must never confuse between descriptive reflective and abstract. يعني reflective essay either تكون descriptive reflective نوعها اللي هي which is about description or abstract. Okay. The emphasis يعني abstract the emphasis is on reasoning. Okay. In the subject given above, for instance, it would be absorbed to deal with the walls in a nursery in one paragraph, but with the metaphorical walls which divide nations in the next. Keep to one approach you have to keep about it. Number 3, subject matter. Number 3 هاي تابعة للinstructions. Subject matter. Subject. What you have to say is quite as important as how you say it. How you say the idea or how to express your emotions, feelings is the most important in subject matter. An essay may be well written and well organized but still lacks substance. أحيانا المقالات تكون well written and well organized مرتبة. Okay, but still lack substance. Substance يعني الجوهر، جوهر الموضوع. So you have to focus on this point. When this is the case, the fault usually lies in a poor interpretations of the subject. أحيانا طلاب يكتبوا لي essay مقالة بها أفكار. The writing is good, no spelling mistakes, no grammatical mistakes, well organized, well arranged, but the idea, the substance, الجوهر الموضوع مو ثابت أو يخربط يعني confuse between one idea and another. هذا الشيء ليش يحدث؟ يرجع هوني the fault usually lies in a poor interpretation of the subject، لأن هو ما an interpretation to the subject. السبجكت اللي هو التايتل لازم يعني the writer must have idea about the subject, must have what is the interpretation of this subject. In this sense, the writer will not confuse between one idea and another, since he knows the interpretation of the subject. Avoid making right observations like every time I think about walls, or we see walls everywhere, or walls are very useful. هاي تكون يعني tried observations. Okay, try to avoid it. Another thing is to avoid is what might be called the pseudo-historical approach. This consists in giving the history of the subject from the earliest times to the present. لازم يكون أكو عندي chronological arrangement ترتيب زمني. Okay, من ال past to the present حتى لا يكون الإساي lack substance، حتى لا تفتقد إلى الجوهر. Okay, number 4, treatment. Treatment. Two distinct processes are involved in the essay writing. We have two processes are involved in essay writing: analysis and synthesis. In the first instance, you break down the subject analysis and then put it together again, synthesis, so that it forms a complete whole. راح يكون two distinct processes راح نجمعهم الاثنين حتى يكون عندي complete whole. Nothing irrelevant must be included. ما لازم يكون شيء irrelevant must be included. أي شيء ما له علاقة بالتايتل بالسبجكت remove it. حاول إنه تمسحه. Okay, لازم كل جملة موجودة بالإساي reflective essay لازم تكون لها علاقة بالسبجكت نفسه. Okay, so nothing irrelevant must be included. Your essay should have unity to the extent that if any single part were excluded, if it would spoil the effect of the whole. أي single part، أي جزء must be excluded، لازم نستخرجه من الإساي إذا ما كان له match to the idea، match to the subject، إذا ما يكون له علاقة بالسبجكت. Okay, so try to يعني to avoid irrelevant sentences. Okay, your work must be balanced متوازن and well proportioned. You can only achieve this if you fully understand the purpose of the paragraph. Okay, only achieve this يعني ممكن يتحقق هذا if you fully understand، يعني if you fully understand the purpose of the paragraph. لازم تفهم ال purpose ال goal from writing this paragraph. Okay, each paragraph in your essay is a unit of thought which deals with an aspect of the main theme. In the same way, each sentence must contribute something to the central thoughts of each paragraph. If an essay can be defined as a group of related paragraphs, a paragraph can be defined as a group of related sentences. يعني هو شيء ضمن شيء، شيء داخل شيء. الإساي هي عبارة عن paragraphs. Each paragraph contains sentences. Each sentence contains words, etc. Okay? فهي عملية تسلسلية متكاملة. And transitions from one paragraph to another، الانتقال من one paragraph to another should be smooth. Okay, should be smooth. A paragraph may often warn the reader of the approach of a new thought or refer to an idea that has already been considered. Each paragraph should be developed properly. A sentence or two is not enough. From the point of view the reader of the reader, a paragraph is a logical break which allows him to collect these thoughts. Okay, you have to transition from one paragraph to another should be smooth. You will have to to transition from paragraph 1 for example the introduction to the development. لازم يكون أكو جمل تنهي بيها الانترودكشن حتى تبدأ بيها السكند باراجراف اللي هو الديفلوبمنت. وبعد ما تنتهي من الديفلوبمنت اللي هو third for example third or fourth paragraph لازم يكون أكو جمل تنهي الباراجراف حتى تبدأ بيها بالconclusion etc. هذا يسمونه transition should be smooth. Okay. The function of the introduction, development and conclusion is as follows. طبعا each essay تحتوي على introduction, development, and conclusion. In the introduction, this is the most important paragraph in the essay, as it is here that you make it clear to the reader your interpretation of the subject, why you are writing about this subject. يعني تنطي مقدمة بالبداية عن what you are going to write in your essay. بالديفلوبمنت راح يكون عندنا نفس ما حكينا بالشورت ستوري وبالليتراري essay نفسها راح يكون اكو development للأحداث واكو sequences اكو chronological sequence etc. وبالconclusion طبعا تكون الخاتمة اللي هي تبدأ بجمل معينة for example here we have to sum up thus we see etc. يعني يكون أكو conclusion لكل essay. Okay. Number 5 devices description, illustration and contrast. In description what we have devices which you are going to follow in writing a reflective essay. In description, this will form an important part of your essay as in descriptive reflective topics as the title implies and even occasionally in abstract ones. سواء كان بالdescriptive reflective يعني أول نوع اللي هو description أو abstract. Your comments will be based largely on what you describe. You may draw on your experience when dealing with subjects that are familiar to you. Okay, number B. Illustration. Do not make comments without being able to prove them by giving examples. يعني try to give examples in your essay in order to clarify your idea, to clarify your point of view, to clarify your emotions, feelings, etc. Number C. Contrast. This gives variety to your writing and makes what you have to say more interesting. يعني to give contrast to make your idea more interesting for the reader. If in one paragraph you have given one view of a subject, it's often wise to deal with a completely opposite view. يعني تنطي فكرة ممكن تنطي فكرة مناقضة عنها على مود يكون الإساي تكون more interesting for the reader. Okay. Number 6 hammer. A light approach is often highly suitable in reflective essays. You may poke fun ممكن تضيف يعني favor of fun at certain beliefs and activities بجمل معينة بأفكار معينة أو يعني your experience تضيف نوع من الفن in a way that will not only amuse your reader not يعني ليس فقط حتى إنه تجذب reader القارئ but also to give him an unusual point of view. Continue another point of view. Okay. Number 7 style. Style we have suitability, personal and impersonal, or use of words. In suitability, the style you adopt for each essay must match your approach to the subject. Style must match with the subject. Irony, for instance, would be quite out of place in an essay on photography in which you have made it your aim to deal with some of the technical aspects of the subject. If you are going to write, for example, about photography, in photography we have the technical aspects of the subject. So you have to avoid irony sentences because you are writing about something which is more serious. Okay. يعني أنت تتكلم عن something serious يعني subject أو title of your essay هي something يعني which is serious. So you have to avoid irony. You have to avoid some funny things. Okay. But if you are going to write about يعني social subject موضوع حاكي اجتماعي ممكن تضيف نوع من الirony أو من الفن etc. Number B. Personal and impersonal. Unless you are specifically asked to give your views on the subject, do not write of the first person. Try to avoid the first person, capital I. Try to avoid I. Okay, is likely to figure prominently in your essay. When writing in this third person, avoid making vague Okay, try to avoid vague things. Everybody realizes how important is to travel. Okay, this is example. Everybody, not I realizes how important is to travel. No, everybody, يعني تتكلم objectively مو subjectively without using I, we. Okay, try to avoid.